Welcome back, everyone. I'm Local 4 News Director Mike Mickle, and we're coming to you live from the Great Revivalist Brew Lab here in Geneseo for Local 4 News Over Coffee. Although some people are telling me that here we should be calling it Local 4 News Over Brews. I don't know how you feel about that, but there's plenty of that to be had here for sure. You know, when you drive into Geneseo, you can just feel the small town charm. It's a picture-perfect community. It's that small quality that it has that really drives people to want to live here, to want to visit here, just want to be here in general. But they've had to pivot. They've had some challenges like many other small communities due to the pandemic. And we are joined right now by the mayor, Sean. Thank you so much for being with us. Sean Johnson, and our city administrator, Joanne Holenkamp. How are you, Joanne?
Good, thank you.
Thank you both so much for being here. Mayor, I'm going to start with you. Let's talk about the pandemic and the challenges that it has presented for Geneseo.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for Geneseo was we had two immediate concerns when it first hit, and primary one being revenue sourcing, because so much of a small town's general fund is funded primarily through sales tax. That was focus number one, and number two would be providing the critical services that a city needs to provide. We have our own electric department, so maintaining electrical services, wastewater services, and those types of services when there was so much unknown to the pandemic. You know, we have a smaller employee pool than a lot of cities would have, and myself and Joanne worked real hard to come up with strategies with our emergency operations director, Chief Distroff, to you know, divide and isolate services and make sure we had adequate staffing so we could keep all those essential services going.
You also got creative. Talk to me about the outdoor food court that I've heard about.
Yeah, it was circling back to the whole business side of things and revenue sourcing to the city. It's, you know, it's so important to keep those small businesses going. And so much of our downtown is funded in, you know, bars and restaurants and things of that nature. And those poor folks were open and they were closed. They were open and they were closed. And when the summertime months hit, we have a nice parking lot in the middle of our downtown restaurant area. And Central Bank was gracious enough to partner with us, and let's find a way to get creative here. And we really improvised on the fly and set up a food court so we could keep those bars and grills open when there was only outdoor dining, kind of bring people to our downtown the best we could. And you know, it started off as something spur of the moment, but it's kind of sprouted some legs, and we're really looking forward to expanding that this summer. Keeping the food court area, but developing it into more of an entertainment venue. So,
continuing to grow now.
Yeah.
And Joanne, when you hear that the bank opens up a parking lot for a food court, that's part of being in a small town.
Exactly.
You all come together, and you guys have really seen that here. Talk to me about financial assistance. Has there been some?
We have. As a city, we wanted to make sure that the small businesses, we could help them out as much as possible. So if unfortunately somebody did get behind on utility billing, we waived all late fees. We didn't shut any business off. And then we were lucky enough to have the revolving loan fund where we could offer 1% interest loans, $5,000 over 5 years, and they make interest-only payments, which I believe is about $128. And then at the end of 5 years, if they're still in business, we forgive the loan. So we had 8 businesses take advantage of that.
That's incredible. A lot of people want to call this home.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about housing sales in this community.
It's hot. It's if you want to buy a house in Geneseo, you better be ready to pull the trigger when you look at the house, because it's probably not going to be in the market 2 or 3 days later.
That's what I've heard. They only last a couple of days, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
It speaks volumes of the real estate market here, as well as just how warm and friendly this community is. You can really speak to that, Mayor, because you moved here at a young age, right? You've grown up here.
yeah, I was born in Dubuque, Iowa, but we moved here when I was real young. So my entire life I've called Geneseo home.
All right. Well, I want to thank you both for being here. Don't go anywhere. We may have more conversation with you, but we've got a lot of great guests here. We've got a lot of great things to brag about in Geneseo, Illinois. You're going to want to stick around. It's a great place to live, but it's also a great place to just visit. Coming up, we're going to talk about how COVID has impacted tourism and how they were still able to hold a couple of their most popular events. We're going to hear more about that, much more, live with Local 4 News Over Brews in Geneseo, Illinois. Coming right back.